Good morning, students. Welcome to online session of Social Sciences. In today's class, I am going to start the fifth chapter of Geography, that is Water on Earth. Dear students, earlier we have learned that there are four spheres of the Earth. Which are that four spheres? Atmosphere, lithosphere, hydrosphere, and biosphere. Do you know the meaning of hydrosphere? Yes, hydrosphere stands for water. The water present on the Earth's surface is referred as hydrosphere. This characteristics of the Earth makes it an unique planet. It means that the Earth is the only planet in the solar system where water is found in all the three states of matters, that is liquid, solid and gaseous. Now this water is very valuable in terms of heat retention. Meaning of heat retention is the amount of heat of an object or material that can be stored over a time. Now, as our body contains 60 to 70% of water. So, to maintain the temperature changes, a large amount of heat must be flow in and out of our bodies. Now, in same manner, ocean do, as ocean contains 71% of water on earth, but it doesn't change the temperature very rapidly as the other land masses like continents can do. Now in previous chapter we have learned that the composition of water, and we have understood that air is a mixture of various tiny molecules of gases. Gases like oxygen, nitrogen and other gases. So in same manner, water is also composed of gases. Its values are 2 atoms of hydrogen and 1 atom of oxygen as H2O. You might have learned in science that the scientific name of water is H2O. So here there are 2 atoms of hydrogen and 1 atom of oxygen. Now, on account of this property of water, life is found in oxygen. What is the reason behind that? As oxygen, as in ocean, H2O means water is there, and that water it is having hydrogen and oxygen both. So what a living thing want to live or to survive? That is water and oxygen. So as both are available there in the ocean, so we can easily find the life there. Now dear students, as you all know that life on the earth originated in the oceans. Down we are having hydrological cycle. This you have already studied in previous chapter. Again we can revise it. So here you can see that water it is going up from the ocean. Likewise from here that water is going upward. That is the under the process of evaporation. Okay, it is going upside, then it is making cloud there, and as it is getting cools and that clouds they are not able to hold that water droplets, then precipitation takes place, and with the help of the precipitation the water comes down and then it run off and again go to that underground, or again it moves to ocean. Likewise it moves again and again. That is why it is called a cycle. The name of this cycle is called hydrological cycle or water cycle. Now we will learn more about hydrological cycle. So through nature's amazing process, water continuously moves between hydrosphere, atmosphere and lithosphere. Now with the help of this diagram we can see all the sphere. Here hydrosphere, then it goes up to atmosphere, then it is coming down to lithosphere. So water is moving in between these three spheres. This movement of water is called water cycle or hydrological cycle. The process that is taking part in this cyclic movement of water are First evaporation, second condensation, and third is precipitation. Now you all have studied all these terms in previous class, but I am going to remind and repeat it again. So evaporation is the process of transformation of liquid into gaseous form. Then condensation is the process of conversion of gaseous substance to liquid or solid form. Precipitation, the process of falling droplets of water. So sunlight falling on the earth, the surface of the ocean causes seawater to evaporate. Evaporation also takes place from all the creatures in the biosphere. Creature means all the living thing, but it will not include plants there. Now the return of water vapor into atmosphere by plant is called transpiration. And in same manner animals do. So when that animals do through the when the animals do this returning of water vapor, that time that process is called perspiration. Okay, and they are doing this process to keep themselves cool. For evaporation to take place, the temperature must remain below the boiling point. When water vapor arises in the atmosphere, condensation begins. So for the evaporation, water temperature should be less than the boiling point, and when the condensation start, it will and when the water vapor reaches to the atmosphere, the process of condensation started there. And this happens because, as you all know, where the temperature, when we will move to altitude, the temperature decreases. So as the water vapor, it will, as it is going to altitude, means it is going high and high, the temperature decreases there, and then condensation takes place. At the higher level, the cooling air has less capacity to hold water vapor. Now during condensation, vapor is changed into water droplets or ice crystals. Now these tiny water droplets and ice crystals rise further up into atmosphere. Where they reach there, they are when the clouds form. Now during the journey, many water droplets or ice crystals joins together, and in this manner they make a bigger droplets. And now when that cloud, when it is not able to hold them, then the precipitation takes place. Now this precipitation can be in a manner of rainfall or hail or snow. So there are many different forms of precipitation. Any kind can be there. Now we will learn about the saline and fresh water. The total stock of water that flows in streams and the rivers or is stored in fresh water, lakes, ice caps and glaciers is fresh water. So here we can say there are two kinds of water. First is saline water and another is fresh water. So first we will learn about the fresh water. Fresh water includes the water that flows in the streams and rivers. Second, the water stored in freshwater lakes. Third, that freshwater lakes and ice caps. Ice caps means a layer of ice permanently covering the parts of the earth. Then that water which has been stored in as glacier. Glacier means a mass of ice that moves slowly down a valley. Then groundwater, the water beneath the surface of ground. And fourth is moisture in the atmosphere. Now this here one word is written, that is percolates. Percolates means to move gradually through a surface that has very small hole and space in it. Okay, so these are the fresh water. Then here we can say that percentage of saline water and the fresh water is different. Now one figure it is given in that page number 34. With the help of that we can understand. Here is that diagram. See, by this we can easily understand that the total stock of fresh water is less than the 3% of the total amount of water on earth. It means that the remaining water is in seas, oceans and some lakes in saline water. Water that contains dissolved salt is termed as saline. Okay, that is called as saline water. Though salinity in ocean water, it varies from region to region and place to place. Sea water generally contains 35 out of 1000 parts salinity. It means that for every 1 liter is equal to 1000 milliliter. So for every liter of a sea water, there are 35 grams of salt, that is sodium chloride. Now we are having comparison between fresh and saline water. First point is fresh water flows in rivers, fresh water, lakes, ice sheets, glaciers and underground water. Now saline water, it is the water found in ocean and some inland lakes. Inland lake means lakes which has no connection with ocean. Second point, it constitutes 2.5% of the total amount of the water on the earth. Saline water, it constitutes more than 97.5% of the total amount of the water found on earth. Third is fresh water freezing point is 0 degree and boiling point is 100 degree centigrade. Means at this particular degree that freezing will be started, means at 0 degree freezing will be started and at 100 degree centigrade water will be starting boiling. Third point for saline water, there are some the more saline the water, the lower it freezes and it boiling point is also higher. Fourth is fresh water evaporates quickly, but saline water it also evaporates slowly, means as it freezes slowly it evaporates slowly. Fifth is fresh water is less dense. This means that a man has greater difficulty staying afloat in it as compared to sea water, means easily a person can drown there. Saline water is much more dense than fresh water. A man seldom means rarely. So a man rarely drowns in it. Anyone can float easily in the Dead Sea since the density of the water is very high. Water budget. Dear students, you all might have heard the word budget from your parents. That budget is related or regarding the money. Okay, so budget is a planning how to spend an amount of money. In same manner, we are having water budget here. So it means that a plan of that how to spend amount of water over a particular period of time. So the ratio of fresh and saline water changes from one part of the earth to the another part, and that is depending on the climatic condition. But the overall ratio that remains constant, means the ratio as we have seen that fresh water is only 3% and rest of the water is saline. So this percentage or ratio will be remaining same. It can also be seen from the hydrological cycle, that is there is an equilibrium means the state of balance. So with the help of hydrological cycle we can see that there is a balance between evaporation, transpiration and the total precipitation over land and oceans both. The same equilibrium is maintained by water in oceans, that is saline water and fresh water, and that is in liquid solid and gaseous states. It also remained fairly constant. Given this limited quantity of fresh water, our earth is on a kind of water budget. So the water budget is like financial budget, as I have explained earlier. So in as that income and expenditure, income whatever a person is gaining, having, earning, and expenditure means expenses, the sources where that